This insanely gorgeous game that you're looking at right now is the extraordinarily ambitious, hardcore, tactical shooter survival game called Road to Vostok. Road to Vostok is currently in the early stages of development, and I just got hands-on for the very first time in the form of the very first demo that was available during the Steam Next Fest. And you can actually go take a look at the demo right now if you choose to. And one of the reasons this game is so extraordinarily ambitious is because it claims to set the benchmark for the absolute highest standards of production and quality in the genre. And it looks to be pretty feature-rich at end state. And the game wants to have survival, looting, trading, dynamic events, multiple maps, shelters to save your stuff, and a very mysterious end zone called Vostok itself. And the survival mechanics are described as a hardcore survival sandbox experience with realistic weapon mechanics, advanced survival systems, and hostile NPCs featuring medical conditions, tactical weapon handling, permadeath elements, and in-depth character simulation. This is right up our alley. The looting claims to have the ability to scavenge, store, and craft hundreds of unique items based on real-world parameters and progressive loot tiers. You can find weapons, tools, consumables, medical items, military gear, electronics, apparel, and more. You can even trade this stuff to get better stuff and use currency to purchase more stuff. You can refuse and accept the value system based off of the NPCs you interact with, and use this economy to continue improving your character. And as you play through the game, there's supposed to be dynamic events that randomize things like crashes, airdrops, random ambushes, and special trading quest events. And there's also environmental weather like rain and thunderstorms, day and night cycle, you name it. The way that the map system is supposed to work is you're starting in the west on the border of Finland and Russia in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, and you're slowly advancing towards the east where there's Vostok, and this is that like final end zone. And as you advance towards the east, the NPCs and the quests and the environment gets much more ruthless and much more difficult, but you also have better and better gear as you progress. And along the way, you're able to stop into these little shelters and store all of your loot, store all of your equipment, and essentially save the game. However, whenever you enter that final zone at Vostok, it is a perma-death area. So if you die, the consequences are dire, and all of the progress you have made in the game up to that point in the event you die are gone forever, and you start over with absolutely nothing. Now, this is a survival tactical shooter player's really dream because it adds those extremely high stakes in a way that I've never seen another game do before. And perhaps the most impressive thing about Road to Vostok is it's being developed by one person. In an era where we see AAA titles look really pretty but then come out and fall flat on their face because they don't have much depth in the way of features and customization and progression and persistence and replayability value and netcode and you name the buzzword, it's refreshing to see a developer who's committed to creating a high quality project and really getting it out there for folks who are passionate about this specific genre. Now let's talk about what's to come for Road to Vostok. The demo just released. We're going to get another demo next year, but full release is still up to 3 or even 4 years away. And the developer has said his production quality standards are so extraordinarily high that we won't get our hands on the final version of this game until it's damn good and ready. And that's okay. I'm comfortable with that because the developer is also saying that the early access version of the game is going to be for sale somewhere around $10, whereas the final version and full release will be $20. There's no DLC, no expansions, no extra stuff you have to pay for. You buy the game once, it's yours forever, and you get to continue to enjoy it. But the only way this becomes successful is if creators like me and consumers like you guys spread the word about this game so that we can support the developer by word of mouth as he is going through this challenging process of making a game from scratch and delivering it to the masses for us to enjoy. The game sounds amazing. The demo is pretty damn cool. Let's talk about that specifically. This demo is very much environment and controller based. So we got to get our hands on the player controller, the first person perspective, some of the first weapons in the game. We got to go to the range, interact with the loot system just a little bit, manipulate some items, and we also got to shoot some guns. The item manipulation system, pretty simple, but it's pretty and it works well. All you have to do is press tab to open up a menu. You can move items around in your inventory. You can equip stuff. You become encumbered as you take on more stuff. The encumbered feature didn't seem to be functioning fully in this version of the demo, but no doubt it will be in the future. And you can actually pick up items in the environment and then move them around without putting them in your inventory. So you walk up, press a key on the keyboard to make the item lift in front of you, and essentially you can move stuff around. So you could theoretically use that to build obstacles or just manipulate the environment, do sensitive site exploitation, move stuff around in a structure so you can see a little bit better, you name it. Pretty interesting little feature. The weapons are gorgeous. I don't know where this guy has got these assets, whether he's made them himself or he's pulled them from elsewhere. We got hands on a bolt-action sniper rifle, a 417 clone, essentially. We also got hands on a traditional M4A1 in 5.56. There was an AK variant, there was an MP5, there's a Glock equivalent handgun, and then there was a range to interact with. The guns all look and sound pretty good. Some of the sounds seem to be placeholders. Most of the weapon models are pretty detailed, and I don't think they need a whole lot of improvement, especially if this is the standard that he's going to be developing up to. I'm very satisfied with the way that the weapons look and feel right now. The gunplay is relatively satisfying. The recoil patterns feel pretty dang good. The brass ejection all looks relatively authentic, and it's just it's a joy to kind of run around and shoot in this game. One of the things I did notice is that there's no height over bore implementation quite yet, so no matter where you're standing, if you're aiming down sights, that bullet feels like it's coming out of the sight rather than out of the barrel, and there's no differentiation between the point of exit on the barrel and the point of aim on the sight, so you don't need to really use holds right now. I imagine that's kind of just a placeholder as he's in development, and we'll get more hands-on, more advanced tactical systems later. You also have the ability to inspect your weapon by pressing X on the keyboard. It brings it up in front of you. You can see all the different attachments, be it the light, the laser. We saw PEC 15s, Surefires, SOCOM, RC2, like Surefire, suppressors. And you can take a look at like all these things that are on your gun. Definitely leads you to believe that there's going to be high degrees of customization later in the game. And then I jumped into the environment itself, and there was one kind of level that was available to explore. This dude's ability to make a gorgeous environment it's extremely impressive. The level that we were running around in, it's kind of like this wood lot, and there was a campsite area, there was kind of a utility area, a bunch of houses on this old kind of logging road. And at first I ran around with no NPCs at all, just really enjoying the environment and exploring, and then I turned some NPCs on and got a feel for the gunplay, and the combat was really satisfying. I'm sure some of the combat aspects are just placeholder elements at this point, but the AI already feels highly competent and dangerous, and they can inflict a lot of damage really fast. But the gunfights were pretty cool, and it sounded good, and it was pretty compelling to be able to have to drop down behind cover with rounds cracking over your head and move to positions of advantage, not repeat the same angle against the highly capable AI. I'd encourage you guys to check out Road to Vostok. Certainly wishlisted on Steam, and check out the website. Make sure you spread the word about this game. I'm really looking forward to what this becomes, and I think that about a year from now, this game is going to explode onto people's radar as we get into the next round of demo and then into early access. And then ultimately, this game has the potential to really make a mark on the industry, and especially in this niche. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Controlled Pairs. This has been the Road to Vostok, and I'll see you guys in the next one.